walk beyond the veil. So it's still camera. Brilliant. So it's the church's AGM. So I thought, because we've got some new people who've joined us in the last year, it's just to give you a bit of context as to how we ended up here in Christ as Grace Church. So 14 years ago, pretty much on Tuesday, quite a number of people all kind of left one particular church together, and about 7 of us felt that God was calling us to do something, and we weren't quite sure what. So we put ourselves in Parkland's church, who Brian Farr, who comes and speaks here quite regularly, he was the leader of at the time, and they had a history of planting Woodlands Church. So we thought, if God is calling us to plant a church, who better than them guys to help us out to do that? So while we were there, as a team, we were praying about where we should be, and we felt God wanted us to be in a deprived area. And one of our team had a dream, and in the dream we were in a high place surrounded by trees. So we thought immediately, Town Hill, let's go and pray for Town Hill. So we went up to Town Hill as a team, and we prayed there, but we just didn't get the sense that that was the right place. And then we came to Place. Beautiful place, there it is, beautiful. It's not somewhere I thought of straight away as a place to kind of to start a church. But we all had the sense that this is the place for us, this is where we're meant to be. So we prayed about it, we met in each other's homes for a while before we kind of went live. And so we tried to hire this place, but the church wouldn't hire out to another denomination. We tried to hire the community centre, but they thought we were a cult, so they wouldn't have us over there. Look, probably, but they know, that's the thing. So we didn't end up in the Scout just then. We were in the treetops. So the treetops, as it were. So it was like a glorified country club. We started meeting there for about 18 months, and as it turns out, it's on a high contour line in Swansea that is surrounded by trees. So that was the answer to the dream. So we were there for a while. That was our very first official launch, when we launched some balloons into the sky. And I don't know whether you can see, but in the bottom picture of there holding a baby. That's Anna. She was here for week 1. Yeah. Not only was that, Emma was here for week 1 as well. So we've had some people who really stick with us. She turned up a week early before we were there as well. So that's how we started off life at the treetops, and we had Christmas there, we did kids spots, and Sarah cut her teeth doing a bit of talking there as well, which is nice. And we started doing community events even when we were kind of meeting there. So we just started going live. We didn't have a place of our own, but we started meeting, we started doing things public, which is fab. So we do fun days in the community as well. So before the park existed over there, we'd hire bouncy castles and we'd get like about 400 people turning up to that. A completely free event, and it was fab. Really, really good. We didn't collate the numbers, we had friends from the family centre, so that's how we know the numbers are legit. Because sometimes people at the front can kind of exaggerate numbers a bit. There's thousands of people, but no, there's 400. It's still a good number. But it was just us trying to bless the community and do something good for them. And we started our very first incarnation of G-Force. So the club that meets monthly now, we started that back in the Scout Hut back then. So we were hiring that one evening midweek. Mark and Donna, who was Myron's daughter and son-in-law, were running that for us, which was fab. And that was our first Christmas. We've always had hearts to partner with the community, and if you can see but there, that's the Christ Primary sign-in choir. So they came for Lauren. You were part of it. Spot Lauren in the choir. But they came for our Christmas service, and it was quite moving actually, because they would sign language, so that kind of the words. It's a beautiful thing. So that was our life there. We were there for about 18 months. Oh, thanks, Ben. And then the treetops sold up, so we had to move out. And I think it's like a Sikh temple or something now, or some kind of thing or other. So we moved out and we moved into the Scout Hut. And we were there for the best part of 8 years, I think, maybe a bit longer. They were really, really good to us. The rent was super cheap. It wasn't always the greatest because it was quite cold. Sometimes the lights would go off. But it was an adventure, and it didn't put people off, and it was fab. You know what I mean? So we still had a tiny number of people coming. I mean, if you look at the photograph at the bottom of there, people just rammed in. I mean, I suppose if we met then now, it would probably look pretty much the same, but we're in a bigger area, which is fun. So, but the Scouts are really good to us. Again, we do lots of community stuff. We try to engage people doing different kind of meetings and stuff as well, which is fab. And we still do our fun days in the summer, so, which included still working with the Scouts and Sarah doing a bit of fixed painting there, which is nice. And again, hiring bouncy castles. So these events are all completely free for the community as well, just because we want to be a blessing to the community. Okay, we had Martin baptised as well. So Martin, he doesn't come to the church anymore, but he set the precedent for us wanting to baptise people publicly. So we baptised a lady called Jenna first, and we baptised her in Parklands, because they had their own kind of baptistry there. But it's like, no, we want to be out and about. So as it turns out, Martin, he had a great-grandfather, someone like that, who used to baptise people in the river in Llandailo. He said, when I'm clean, he said, I want to go and get baptised in the river in Llandailo. So that's what we did. So Martin got clean, and we took him and we baptised him in the river. We led worship the back. Some cows got saved. It was fantastic. So, Place for All started at that time. So that was like a pot of money that the lottery kind of came into place. I wanted to spend £1 million blessing place, and we were on the steering board for that. And we managed to talk them into it, letting us have a couple of gazebos on the park area there so we could have a carol service. It was all taken thing, wasn't it? Well, that was fab as well. So we had a carol service outside on the grass there. Lovely. So in the meantime, we've been doing plenty of messy church events in the community over there. You can see our Charlotte having a bit of sing-song with kiddies there, which is fab. Hannah and I reading some stories. And charity coffee morning. So any way that we can to engage the community, that's our heart. That's what we've done over the last 12 years. It's not a new thing, but it's something we've always done. So these are some of the events that we would try to run even here. So we would hire this place out when we didn't have a venue and a building. Some of those people have gone before us now and passed away. Carol specifically, bottom left there, she prayed in the area for years and years for a church. And then she joined us, and she'd never got to see this. But I think she would have loved it, actually. I think she genuinely would have loved it. So that's us. Over the years, we've picked up a lot of rubbish as well. So it's an opportunity for us, again, to bless the area, but to pray over the streets as well. Because nothing happens in this area without prayer. Nothing happens. So bags of rubbish, bags of prayer, and again, an opportunity to engage with the community. Come May 2020, so after us trying to buy this place, not having any money, and they wouldn't sell it to us, trying to rent it, again we couldn't rent it. The congregation here decided to move out, and they decided to give us the place. So we pay £1 a year for this place. We didn't have to buy it, we didn't have to rent it. All we had to do, me and Sarah, was walk around it 7 times and pray. And they give it to us. So, but it's fantastic. So we got this building in the May of 2020 then, which was COVID time. So we couldn't meet. If you look at the bottom picture there, bottom right, even the seagulls on the roof are socially distant. That's how bad things were. But we did some socially distanced gardening as well. And if you can see the top left one, that's pre-houses that were built there. Yeah. Pre-school, pre-anything like that. So that's where we had it. Yeah, it's fab. Everyone put a shift in, and that's where the grass is as it looks now because of that. It took us a long time to kind of get planning permission, to get architects involved, stuff like that, because we were told that an architect should cost about 15% of the overall fee, the overall figure of the project. We were told that the project would cost about £400,000, so we were looking at a hefty price for architects and stuff like that. So we were trying to find the money for that, get planning permission, and at the same time then, Chloe had a pod outside. She was selling her cakes there. So she would work part-time for us as a church, as a community worker, and then part-time selling her cakes there as a kind of an indication of what she was hoping to do in the area. So we got our planning permission, and then we started building. It was lunch assembly money. It was the easiest thing in the world. Chloe filled out the application. Well, I say the easiest thing in the world. Chloe filled out the application form. I added a bit of Bible into it. They came up, and it was like a Jedi mind trick. You give us all the money. We scored 90% out of 100 for the application form, and that was it. And as soon as they gave us the money, we wrote it then. But what was really, really helpful in that process was having Gail Ware. She was like an Esther to us as a church, because she speaks Builder. Builders they talk a different language, you know what I mean? And it's quite hard to understand and keep them on task. But Gail Ware, like that, she keeps on task. So we got the job done, which is fantastic. We moved in just before Christmas. Chloe then still selling her cakes, still being a presence in the community. She slogged her guts out in the community, to be fair to her, and built really, really good links and relationships. The idea with having Chloe as our community worker for all those years was not to replicate anything that was going on, but was to find where the gaps are, but also to be a blessing to what's going on. So if there was a food bank starting, let's get involved, let's bless that. If there's something else, can we bless that? Do you know what I mean? So it's not about competing, but being a blessing. And then these are some of the things that we did while we were still trying to build the building. So we had a drumming session out over there, we've had Welsh quizzes. Yeah, fantastic. But you can see what a bit of a pit the place was before we managed to kind of to do it up. So it took a long time, and it took a lot of hard work, but we're in. So this was some of the building as it was. And then this is the very last event that we've done, which is the Summer Fete. Fantastic. Again, an opportunity to bless the community. And even newer people as well, and Susan, helping out. Everybody just getting stuck in from work though. Because that's how hard we are at Grace Church. I don't care whether you've been here for week 1 or whether you just come today, you are Grace Church. It's fantastic. So I think, and these are some of the things that we've done as well. I won't go into these too much because I think Chloe might be covering some in terms of the community kind of update. But any and every way that we can try and kind of engage with the community and be a blessing to the community, that's what we want to do. We want to break down any barriers that people have in terms of coming to church. We want to put on things in the church people can come to, that they can invite their friends to. Because a lot of times churches will do stuff that only attracts church folk. And it's only the church people who come. But we exist for everyone out there who doesn't come yet. That's our heart. It blesses me no end. When people come here, they say, God, you're the most community-focused church I've ever been to. That's who we want to be. We may get a lot of things wrong, and we want to love the people out there so they know that Jesus loves them. Okay, so who are the leadership team? So the leadership team has been quite fluid over the years. I've been in churches before where it's kind of blood in, blood out. Seriously, yeah. And if you decide to step down, that's it. You know, you can excommunicate. But that's not who we are. We've had different people in the leadership team, depending on their kind of circumstance in life. Sometimes they felt it's need to step down, and all that, and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? We're happy for people to serve in whatever capacity they can. But the leadership team at the minute comprises of me trying to take a selfie, but then in the top left, Emma Ball as well. Emma Ball, absolutely fantastic. What a pastor. What a pastor she is. Charlotte. Again, another Esther for us at the right time. Just absolutely brilliant. And then this was me today as well, Sarah, at the bottom left. Fantastic. But then, not one of the senior leadership team, but Chloe. Chloe's one of our house group leaders. So the reason I put on there is so that you know that she's a house group leader, but also she did a degree in event management, so she's really good at putting on events. And as a leadership team, we kind of rely heavily on Chloe and kind of consult with her for things that we want to do. So we pick her brains on a lot of stuff. So with that in mind, I'm going to hand over to Chloe now, who's going to give us a little bit of a community update.
Same jumper as the picture.
So the AGM today, we're looking at 2024. So last year, so as a full year. So I just chose a couple of pictures. So we got in December 2023. We chucked the builders out so we could have a Christmas carol service, if you remember. And then we opened the coffee shop in the February. So I finished working for the church in the January, so I worked for the church for 8 years as a community worker. So I stopped that January 2024, and then we started the coffee shop here from February, which seems great, doesn't it? So there's a picture of us opening day before we came in, and then in terms of our community focus as a church, we still try to do some of the same events that we've done over the years. But they look a little bit different now, so maybe we do them here, or maybe they've adapted, or maybe we run them from the coffee shop through the week. So this was our Welsh party. It was an event that we'd done over the years that we found was really good at engaging with the community, and people came along again. And this was one of the first community events that we did. So it was really exciting for us, I think, because people were in here and seeing our vision and what we were doing, whereas they were coming to the community centre before to visit us. So this was showing them what we'd done with the space, which was really exciting. So that's the Welsh party. G-Force continued here, so that's one of our G-Force events. Please pray for G-Force. There's only a few of us now running it, and the numbers are up and down, up and down. So a lot of our core children are now out of the age range, because we do ages 7 to 11. We still see them loads, don't we? They're still around, but we kind of haven't captured maybe the kids coming up with it. And that age 7 to 11 is really important, isn't it? That end of primary school before they move up. So please pray for us in that. It's something that we restarted about 3 or 4 years ago now. But looking back on that is great, isn't it? How, you know, Mai was there at the beginning doing it in the Scouter in the early days with 3 or 4 kids. It's brilliant that we've been able to continue those things now here in our space. Quiz nights, they've been really fun this year. I love this picture of Charlotte and Gail doing the high or lower up there. It's good fun. That's what we're about, isn't it? We want to show people that church is fun. It's not this boring, you sit in pews and you just listen environment. It can be this give and take. It's about a relationship with Jesus, isn't it? It's that we can pray to him and he answers us. We believe that. So we want to show people that we're a family, that they can be a part of us, and that, you know, if you've got a face you fit, if you come in, you're part of us. There's no sort of, you've got to go through this or that. And that's what we want people to feel when they come in through the doors, that they are at home. And we've had so many people say that, which is really lovely to hear. Especially, there's handfuls of Muslim people who come in here now, and they have told me that they feel that this building feels like home to them. That's our prayers, that is. That's our God at work in their lives. So it's all about that friendship. Because if you make a friend with someone, they know what God's done in your life. One of the most amazing conversations I've ever had with a Muslim was they were asking me questions, and I'm like, I really don't know the answer. But what I think for myself is this, or how God's worked. And they were like, you can have your own thoughts. It's like, yes. Like, it's a relationship. That's what I believe that it is. And it's just about sharing our testimony, because no one can refute that, can they, about what God's done in your life. And that's what we're continuing to do. And we don't want, I'm really conscious from when we were out, and I was doing community work, that we were going out, because we didn't have a base. So I was the face of the church, if you like, going out to all the different things that were on. That when we started having a building of our own, that we didn't want to be in. That's why we continue to do Messy Church over in the community centre. Bigger space, we can leave the nest there. But also that we show we're still connected and part of the community. You know, inviting everyone into our support hub every month, that people feel that they're a part of us, that they're connected. That's what it's all about. Here's a few more events. So that one over there, Chinese cooking, that's a completely different group of people that we had come in that don't come to anything else, but they were coming into a church and feeling like they were part of something. And then on the right, one of my favourite events that we did last year was the Christmas party. And we had about 80 people here who were being connected from all the different groups that we do. The knitting group were here, the book club were here, people from Chinese cooking were here, people from Bible study were here, people from the church. Everyone was included. G-Force kids were here with their parents. It was fantastic that they felt they wanted to come and celebrate Christmas with us. So, and then the coffee shop as well then. So as you know, the coffee shop is a community interest company, or you might not know that. So it means basically that we give away our profits to local causes. So our aims were to create an environment where people can come together, because there's no environment in the area where people can come together, to combat loneliness, to make friendships, to put on events, to fill the gaps. It's basically what we're doing as a church, isn't it? Just in a different way. So, just to say, I shared some of this in the talk the other week, but these are the things we gave some of the profits to in 2024. So, that football kit there was for Tannerlands. We bought them a new football kit, so we are the sponsors of Tannerland Football Club. So they've got a tournament now after half term, which is really fun, so they can all wear their kit. And they're super proud of it, to be fair, because loads of the children come in with their parents and they're like, oh mum, this is Chloe who gave us a football kit. It's really nice. So that's great. And when I went into assembly, next to me there's Mr. Jones, the head teacher. He went, so who knows who this is? And they were like, it was really nice to see that they knew who I was. Just a girl from the church who makes cakes, but they knew who I was, and they knew that they were connected in some way. Then this is the Scouts. we sponsored their bus that you see there for their summer trip. So loads of the scouts in Clace Scouts are from Clace, so they really struggle to take them away and go on trips. What do they call this trip? Residential camps. So yeah, they were camping in the woods up in the Brecon sort of area, because they went to Caerphilly Castle one day and things. But they went to Caerphilly Castle because we gave them a bus. They were able to go out on different, they didn't have to take their cars and it wasn't difficult to get transport. So by doing that, they were able to go on 2 extra trips on their trip itself. And, you know, speaking to Phil and Deb from the Scouts, we've got a long connection with them. We thought it was really important to try and carry on supporting them, because we're not there anymore, to try and keep that connection, as we were talking about. But, you know, they said other areas, they spend like £1,000 per child on their residentials, and they go abroad and they do this or that. That's just not doable in place. But by you giving us this bus and petrol, you've really helped us do other activities with them, and it was so great. They put together a book with all their pictures. They took my sign with them on holiday, and there's like about 100 pictures. They've all got little selfies with it. So we've got the book here for you to look at, and they gave a little purple elephant, which they inducted into the Scouts as well, with a little neckerchief. So that's everything for me.
Fantastic.
Good, thank you. Any questions so far from anyone? Anybody want to ask anything? Okay. So we try to be as excellent as we can be as a leadership team. None of us here get paid. Chloe used to be our paid worker, but literally nobody in the church gets paid now for anything. So anything you see anybody do is voluntary, because we love Jesus, okay? So we try to be as excellent as we can be, as much as we make it up as we go along, though, and we're kind of waiting on the Lord. Behind the scenes, we have a board of trustees, okay? And they are excellent, right? So the trustees are Brian Farr, who top left for there. So Brian, he's been a friend to us for many, many years. He supported us when we went live as a church. He comes and speaks, and he really helped us go up a gear in terms of our excellence. Donna, then bottom left, that's Myron's daughter. She was part of the leadership team for a while, and Grace, and then her and us are part of the church now. She chairs the trustees team, and fab doing that. Gail then, Belair, she's our financial kind of person. What's the word for the treasurer, that's the word. And again, absolutely outstanding, first class, and you'll find that now when she comes to kind of speak to you. That's my mate Gareth Cook, who you will have seen speak here. So I've known Gareth for about 14 years now, doing Christian Vision for Men events together. So he's come on board quite recently. Myself and Jocelyn, I couldn't find a picture of you, Joss, because you know, on Facebook. So, but that's okay, because that shows you that Anne's doing it. That's all right. So Joss has come on fairly new as well, although again we've known Joss for 25, 26 years. Top right then is Claire McCarthy-Reid, and then taking on minutes then, so not officially a trustee, but we couldn't do it without her, is our lovely Charlotte then. So, without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to Gail, because Gail is going to do our financial update for you for years 23-24. I'll pass over.
Can I just say, all the treasurers, trustees know that I am fantastic at using this. I still don't know which one you're supposed to write. Is it this one? Yeah. Do you want to do it? Because I don't trust myself. Right. Okay. So this is obviously going to look at presenting the financials for 2024. Go to the next one. So I just want to talk about the responsibility, who's responsible for the finances, firstly. Secondly, what reports we use and when they're updated and how they're presented to the leaders and trustees and uploading onto the company's house. It's the company's house, it's called, isn't it? Charity Commission. And then where we were at the end of 2023 and obviously at the end of 2024, and look at the dreaded incomes and outgoings. We all love looking at our own finances on the incomings and the outgoings, and hopefully we've got more coming in than going out. And then look at where we are at 2025. So I think I've 3, is it 2 years? This is my second year. So we normally just present to you where we are for the AGM, but I thought it'd be nice to actually show you where we were, where we've been, and where we are now. And then also look at something that I think we haven't really done, really, have we, since I became a treasurer, was a budget, because it's really important that we know what we were spending, because we're obviously taking on this wonderful building. So this slide basically says who's responsible for our finances. We're all responsible, every single one of us, in what we give, what we use in the church, as reaction, as leaders and trustees. So it's all basically, everybody can help in terms of what your donations are, to your usage of the funds, how we spend things. So even though I help to pay the bills and keep things in order, I'm not the only one that's responsible for our finances of the church. We all are. So we all give in different ways, and we all support the church in different ways also. So we're all basically responsible for the ins and outs and everything that goes on in this building. Next one. So the reports that we use to update and present trustees and leaders, and updates on Charity Commission, sorry. So the trustees, we meet roughly 5-6 times a year, and we go through it. We also have updates from Purple Elephant as well, so we can support one another and have transparency in our finances, both sides, which I think is important. Leaders twice, I've only done it once this year, so hopefully I'll be invited again at the end of the year. Byron, we had a lovely meeting, and he was smiling because everything was green. So we've got another meeting at the end of the year. And just regular communication throughout as well. So I won't go through all of these, but basically, I did. Sorry. So we have basically a monthly summary sheet. So it's really important. I am a treasurer for a local community hall. That's not a charity, and it's still important to know where the pennies are going. But when you're a charity business, that's what we are, a charity, it's really, really important because anyone can come and audit it, and it's really important that people are putting money into a charity and know what it's been spent from. So we have basically a monthly sheet which is presented. Anyone can see it basically on what's going in and out, and they all have what the class is subheadings, so utilities, training, that type of thing, things going to the building and grants, so we know how we can budget things as well. There's also our financial statements that we use as well, and that's presented as well. And there's this wonderful sheet. This is my favourite sheet. This basically tells everything that we've got from last year, this year, and all the way across the months, and it's really good then to use that going forward. In 2024 was an important year for us as a church because it was our tester, really, because we didn't know how much everything was going to cost to run the building and things like that, so it was really, really important. And as the trustees know, this is my most favourite report, is the report that we get from the accountant. So I'm not a qualified accountant, but there's a lot of figures and numbers in there, and obviously understanding them all. So this is something that is presented also and signed off, and it has been verified obviously by an accountant, not just me. So they're the type of documents that we have. Next one, so this at the top is basically where we ended at the end of 2023. So you can see we've got two accounts. One is a current account, which is our everyday usage, and then one is what we class as a savings account. So at the end of 2023, we had £18,425 and 77p. It's important, if it helps. And then at the end of 2024, we had a total of £33,994, which you think, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It's not really, because not all of it really was ours. There was 17,000 of that was actually from grants. So as a charity, and when we, as Chloe's worked really hard in getting grants for us, is that it's important that the reason we get grants is because we've officially said what we're going to use the money for. So even though it says that there's just under 34,000 £34,000 in there. £17,000 of that was actually to be towards a grant towards the building. So just need to be aware of that. But next one then, please. So the income. So this is basically, we have a lot of what we class as income. So we have donations from backs. We have donations from cash, so from the buckets at the back. We also have stewardship, which comes directly in, and we get tax back on that, which is 20% extra on that. Obviously grants, transfer from savings, because we had to put money in. Refunds, we had a dodgy fridge, didn't we had to replace that. So we had some money back for that. And building hires, which I got to say is fantastic for what Chloe does. So in the first year, we had over just under £800, which is a fantastic income. So that all equates to £53,000. Again, that's not a true reflection of the income we had, because we sold a cooker, we sold speakers, we had a new cooker, so there was money that was donated from people inside the church. We sold speakers and containers, and obviously we had grants. So what I just wanted to do is take what wasn't the norm out, and what I always class as what we call as hard figures, hard money. So that equated to £17,104, sorry. So that's basically a true reflection. So even though it said that we had £53,000 in, really it wasn't £53,000 in, because you can see that we had just under £23,000 worth of grants. Okay, that's gone to building. Next slide. So our outgoings. So these are all the subheadings that we have. As you know, Chloe finished, I think it was January of 2024, wasn't it? I just have to lift up Chloe, because even though Chloe's not getting paid for us, I think you're still doing the job, Chloe, really, aren't you? Bless you. Yeah. And we are very, very blessed to have Chloe. So I know Chloe's blessed with the business that she has, and it's amazing, and it's a great vision, but it's a lot of hard work, shall we say. But so when Chloe asks for volunteers and for support, please do all that you can is important. So I'm not going to go through every single heading, but in a nutshell, just under £30,000 worth of outgoings. When you look at true reflections to take away the buildings and things like that, it actually only equates to £7,000 worth of outgoings. When you think about it, £7,000 is what we have to have a year to basically open the doors. So our insurances, for instance, you can see insurances cost like £2,600. So before we even open the doors, we actually spend £2,600 to make sure everyone's safe and the building's protected. One thing I just wanted to highlight, which is something that we worked on very hard this year as leaders, is we donated, only £904 of our income in 2024. So this year, we actually have doubled that. It's like £1,400 worth of charity, which is going out this year to local funds, to charities, basically. So we've seen that as something that we're not tithing as much as what we should be, going back into charity. So we've actually increased that, and obviously it'll increase more as well as the years come. Next slide. So if you look at our true reflection of our income is 17,000 and our outgoings is 7,000, you can see that there's a yearly, basically a wonderful £10,000 in the bank that we've had come in more than what's gone out. But as you understand from your own finances, is that anything can happen. A door could break, or we could have a break-in, or anything like that, and we would need to have what we class as a rainy day fund. Part of our policy is to make sure that we have at least a year, potentially a year and a half worth of our expenditure. So even though we're saying we've got that £10,000, that's basically as our rainy day fund. So next slide. So this is where we were now. So I looked at this at 10:03 this morning. So we have just under £15,000 in our current account, and we have £8,272 in our savings. We are already putting into our savings now as well to build that back up. So total at the end of this, as of today, we've got £23,245 in, which is a great asset. You may think, oh my gosh, we've got loads of money, but when you think about it, a year, you know, increases, I think it went up to about £9,000. So you think about half of that is going to go. So I know we shouldn't say this, but COVID hit, didn't it, before? So if COVID hit again, we could still open the doors for 2 years without having to worry. So we can pay for the bills and things like that. So I think it's important. So we are in a good place, but we still, I always say, don't take your foot off the accelerator, and it's still really important that we still stay responsible for what we're doing within the building and how we utilise that money. Next slide. So this is the best slide that put a massive smile on Byron's face, is that this is our budget. So what we use is 2024 spending, and we put it into a budget, to a realistic budget. And this is where we're at, basically, in terms of 2025. I have to say a massive thank you to Sarah, because Sarah does everything to do with our solar panels and our energy costs. So we only have electricity coming into this building, and it is a even though she's upstairs, she's not listening. But Sarah worked tirelessly hard. We haven't paid an electricity bill since May. So I'm in a different situation in a community hall where it's literally, we're opening the doors to pay bills. Whereas we're here, because we haven't had to pay as much in bills, we haven't paid an electricity bill since May, and money that we've got in the account will see us through the winter, basically. So it's a really good position because of the solar panels and the batteries. And we had some sunshine, thank you, Lord. So that helps. And I think, next slide, so again, it's just to reiterate that the responsibility is all ours. So even if it's not using so much toilet roll, or buying, I think someone's bought some lovely Marks and Spencer's tea bags and things like that. So so thank you. So it's even little things like that helps towards our funds. And I think, okay, money's money, but what's priceless is your support and your love. So when we've got events and clearing up and things, that is also another thing that's really, really key. I think that's it there. And any questions?
So if you, like money that was when you did say about the money that I help raise money for the car park.
Yes.
Do the steps, and I think we've done a school for, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah, so those figures are for 2025. They're for this year, so they're not really included in what I've presented. But this is how wonderful God is that we had, I think we raised about 27,000 quote, just over £27,000. And when we had the original quote, it went up to 29,000 because it was a lapse. And I think it was 27,500, wasn't it? And I had to ask the trustees that we're probably going to have to put our hands in a pocket and give another £1,700 to pay for outside. But because, as you say, Gemma, the work that you've done, the work that we've all done, and Chloe done with the events, and God's grace, is that CJ Construction only charged us, I know this has been recorded, sorry, CJ Construction, but they only charged us £27,500. So that's how wonderful God is, because the amount that we'd actually raised, we didn't have to go into our savings or anything like that to top it up, and that's all great thank you to you, really, and obviously for you, Jen, for saving that, for raising that money. Any further questions?
If we wanted to contribute on a regular basis, how can we do that?
So there is bank details that you can do, so there are like backs that people do pay backs. If you are working, we can claim back the tax, which is 20%. So you can do it through stewardship. So I think a lot of us do it through stewardship. So it literally goes out in a backs, but it goes into a stewardship fund, and they basically give us the
direct debit.
Direct debit, yeah, and direct debit if you're not. And also there's a lovely green bucket at the back. So I was with the chairman of the community hall, and I just said, even if we had £1 a week or £10 a week, then that adds up like to potentially £500 a week in income, and that can be used for community events, and it can be used for things that the church needs, really. But there is 2 verses that really sort of shouted out to me. Are there any other questions, by the way? No? Good.
I'd just like to say thank you that you put so much time and effort in and you wear so many hats everywhere else. And we're so lucky that you can wear all these different hats. None of us can. Through the build, I think we would have been extremely lost without you. And this building is so important for this community and we are grateful for all that.
Thank you. Don't make me cry now, Em, but it's an honour. It's an honour. Right. Let's change the subject. So Philippians 4:19, if you want to just jot this down. And my God will meet all our needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus. And I think the vision, everything is this building. I think when Byron first asked me to be a treasurer, I was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I wasn't really, was I, to be honest? And then I done it when we had this massive £400,000 refurb. But I was, it's made my faith in the Lord, because sometimes we look at our ungodly ways and thinking, we've got to take on this building, how much is it going to cost, this type of thing. And it just goes to show, by the grace of God. And the next verse, which really sort of hones to me, is Luke 6:38. I don't know what version this is, but I couldn't find it on the Bible, so it was in the NIV, but this basically sums up. Give, and it will be given to you. For with the same measure that you use it, it will be measured back to you. And that's what I can basically say for Grace and for this building, for what we're doing for the community. I know obviously I caught the beginning of the trees and being at the top of the hill and things like that, but it is, I always see it as a beacon, and it is a beacon of light. And when it's not closed and when the building wasn't being used, just what it's doing for the community. And I just want to lift up Chloe for that, because she is our beacon of light for that as well. Just say thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Seriously now, does anybody have any questions at all? Now's the time to ask. And there's no dull questions. Every question is welcome.
If anybody wants to see any of the reports or anything like that, they get sent regularly. They love my emails. So if anybody wants to see in the reports, there is folders that everything's in, so receipts and things like that. So if anybody wants to see anything or have any clarification or anything, I won't find it, I won't be, what's the word? Offended. I'd be glad to show it to you.
Thanks, Gail. No, it's all open, it's honest, there's an accountability to it. Like you say, nobody gets paid, so everything that Gail does, she didn't get a penny for that. And someone wise once said that if you're a senior leader of a church, you shouldn't do the finances for accountability's sake. Because the temptation and all that. Aside from that, I just couldn't do it. You know what I mean? There's 3 types of people in this world, isn't there? There's people who can do maths, there's people who can't.
There is one thing. I think it's important that obviously we do have a savings and there is money there, and you are contributing to that. So if there is anything that you feel that we need or that we're not doing, please say. And then we can consider it as a leadership team and also as a trustee team. So, I just want you to know that your voices are heard, provided it's not like opening a pub or anything like that, and it's in a godly way or anything, then please let us know. And it doesn't have to be me, it could be any of us really, or you could jot it down or whatever. But I think it's important that we all have a say in what happens to our little rainy day fund. Gemma wants to.
Yes, Gemma.
As you know, Hannah went well a few months ago in the hospital, and we've got our WhatsApp group, Jed's WhatsApp group, and with me, Julianne and Diana, it was like we were the night watch, and we were able to make sure Hannah was okay until the ambulance came. So like, in case of emergency, there's always, at some point, there's always somebody there to help us.
Excellent. Thanks, Jen. Well, any other comments? Excellent, that's what we like to
That's
hear.
the core to the